There it is. I was looking for this. I had them prep it up, clean it. So I took this one on a trade. This is the Sundown SA version 2 with the new different frame. So the who is it? Is it U? Well, a lot of people call it the U series because Sundown first came out in their U series using this frame. But this is an open tool frame. You can buy this from Loader Base. This is the motor, triple stack by 20 millimeter, bolted. Good job. He's got his saw blade cuts. You just use a diamond blade in it. This looks like a 5 millimeter. But again, this is just for cooling and surface area. But oh, and it has 2 bolt patterns on it, which I thought was interesting. Oh, and some people, oh, and then the pole is a little bit too small, but I'm sure Jacob will defend it by saying, you know, it helps induce the Venturi effect, which is true. However, part of the problem of the Venturi effect is that it also causes noise, turbulence, chuffing, because it's too small. So, and then it uses upgraded metal spacer, vent spacer, whatever you want to call it. And then it's got the bigger boot, which I think he originally tooled up for the X. This probably uses the same diameter of the like XV1. So that way you can reuse the boot. Don't have to pay another $500 to $1,000 to tool that up. Now, as far as this frame goes, as we saw in the videos last night, or hopefully you watched that video to watch Jacob's videos, and then I hope you subscribed to him to learn more. So the reason I say that sarcastically is because Jacob is not there to teach you anything. And you have to understand why. He is there to make money. And in order for him to make money in really anything, it's about secrets. It's about doing something, performing something, knowing something that you don't know, because otherwise you would do it yourself, right? There you go. And so it's always a weird thing to see somebody with as much experience as he does as far as manufacturing goes, and my hat's off to him for that, doing a lot of stuff here and then being able to have the cash flow, the bank to do that many SKUs in China. That's a big deal. So easily over $1 million. And congratulations to him. What my problem is with him is that he doesn't always tell you the whole truth. And sometimes, again, a lot of things get manufactured for different reasons. A lot of times it's just because that's what's available. And they go, and then the engineer, designer, whoever's making the decisions, the decision maker, just goes, okay, good enough. And it literally is good enough. It really is. Now, sometimes those decisions come back to bite you. And especially when you're not, how do I say this? It's not that he's not honest. He's not just more open, candid. There you go. So he's not more candid. So in the video that he talked about, the only reason to add a 3rd slug or even a 4th slug is for clearance. And okay, which is fine. I understand that. This thing has a, I think this is a 9-inch spider. It has an 8-inch spider option. And he could have gone with a deeper cone. But again, I'm not a big fan of that tall roll. But again, he's looking for a look. It's not for more cone area. That's all bullshit. I'm not sure why he tells you that. It's sort of like saying a square subwoofer has more, you know, surface area, as if it makes it louder. Which, even if that's true, why would you pay double for, you know, a fraction of a decibel? A decimal of a decibel. I don't know why you would pay all that money for that. So, but they used the 9-inch spider, which is a little big. And I say that because the voice coil height, the whine height, is the same as the other models. Because I cut it open and I looked at it. I go, hey, this is the same as the 12, which is like about a 45 millimeter whine height, maybe a 50 millimeter, depending on what impedance it is. And it's copper. It's, you know, whatever, Chinese copper, whatever. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It doesn't have the special heat treated coating. And again, ask them about that. That's all bullshit too. That's just something China came up with to enable them to charge more. So especially to, again, a decision maker, designer, not quite an engineer, but a designer for speakers that, again, they think about marketing. They think about what advantages can I have over my competitors so that the person who doesn't know any better will buy my product. That's what they're thinking. So, right? But that's not why you come here. You come here to know the answers to stuff. And so I want to share the answers. So, but let me show you the back. Laser. So, and then they go back over it with clear zinc, so that way you don't get a rust spot right there. Because you can get it. Oops. You can get a laser it and then go, hey, this looks cool, and then you got to clear coat it. We had to do the same thing on the when we did the GOTC. What was it? The dumpers. Remember the dumpers? So, but I think that was it. But the reason why I did the trade, okay, the other one was my complaint was they, oh, I got to decline. Hang on, I got to call somebody real quick. I forget that I use CapCut now, so, which is, again, a great little tool. I don't do any real editing. I just, you know, stitch two clips together. But, so they went with the beauty ring. That's what it's called. Aluminum beauty ring with engraved. I actually had some anti-theft ideas of one that I want to do for Mac, for ours, and it'll just be an option. They went with the beauty ring. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of the wraparound. But the problem is that Jacob gets all the wraparound gaskets made in China, and he buys the cheap ones, which technically work better because they're stiffer. They have a higher durometer. But I like the American ones that are softer. To me, they seem to work better, but that's just me. I'm sure he has science to back up his decision, but and then the problem is that you end up having to do a little gasket, foam gasket with glue on the backside. But I wanted this frame because I didn't want to buy it from Lord of Base, and the guy he just wants an 18, and so I'm doing, I think it's this one. Yeah, this one is for him, and we're doing an 8-inch spider. This is our single. It's like a 1.3 DCR, which for some reason Sundown considers a 2-ohm coil. I'm like, okay, whatever. It's a 80 millimeter wind height copper, and the purpose of this. Well, let me explain. Let me back up. The stopping point will be the spider, which is where you want it to be. And we're going to do the Mega Roll Gonzo cone. But you want a large wind height because it gives a bigger sweet spot of where maximum BL is. That force that drives the woofer. But, and again, you can watch some of that in Jacob's video when he talks about it. He briefly goes over it a little bit. But it helps to understand what he's talking about in the first place. Again, study. Subscribe to Voice Coil Magazine if you can. Just say you're a student and they'll give you a free subscription. And then the other one is there's a industry magazine. I forget what the name of it is, but you can get emails that just gives you new products that are coming out from different brands, mostly from manufacturers. And you can just keep abreast to, what's hot in the industry or what, is coming up. But, and then this one's Chris's. I got to finish this one. This one's a Dual 2, which is, he said he wanted it for home theater. I was like, okay, that's fine. But, so I wanted the frame, and I got a bunch of these frames from I can't remember if it was from, I think it was Concept. Yeah, I got these from the Concept closeout. But the guy doesn't care, and then I gave him an upgrade to the GONZO Junior motor, so, which is, basically a quad stack version of this, and a 3-inch coil. But I think that was it. That's my review on the Sundown Audio SAv2. Is it a winner? No, it's actually overpriced. The thing is 100% Chinesium. Not that that's bad. It just, what that means is they're making a larger margin, right? Large marge. They're making a larger profit margin by outsourcing it to China. And what's funny is that kind of goes against you know, the aw shucks, I'm just from, was it North Carolina, South Carolina, one of the Carolinas, that Jacob is from. And so you're just buying a, you know, it's USA designed. I'm sure he, you know, did part of the CAD work or whatever. Good job. It's one of those things where, you know, when they move manufacturing over to China, you would hope that they would share that with you, and that's not the case. Again, they're there to extract as much money out of you as possible, trick you into buying into their brand, and then on top of that, they punish you, your service work, with that stupid 2 3/4 voice coil that I think they share that with JL, except for this one uses a copper coil, JL uses an aluminum coil, because again, they go with the floppy soft parts and a really light coil. Not that that's better, it's just a different way to solve a problem. Personally, I like the heavier coil. In this case, you could have used an aluminum coil because there's the soft parts are so heavy, but and then I'll have to look up the specs on it. Let me go look at it right now. What you do is you give up BL, and because you're going with a larger coil, and so there's less windings. There's still, the length of wire is probably the same, but again, what it is it's a more compact field when you go with a slightly undersized coil. You saw this also in Twisted Sounds. I forgot his name that designed that one, which, you know, him and Jacob were buddies, and basically that was the SA, you know, classic, but on steroids, which was a triple stack. I'm sure you can look it up. The Twisted Sounds guy's I think he either died or got busted with meth. And I forget his name. He's now with JY Power. I forget. I haven't talked to him in so long. Once I got kicked out of the Sundown Reconer group. People, you know, we shouldn't talk to him. It's like, oh, okay. I think, what did I want to look? Do they only make it in? No, they make it in 10 and 12. Okay. That sucks. My favorite is the SA Classic, which again just uses a regular 2.5-inch coil instead of the 2 3/4. The 15 is by far my favorite. That thing is fucking phenomenal. We put 2 of those in a sealed box in a Honda Civic with a big old Planet Audio, you know, 2 kilowatt amp, and it was fucking fantastic. I loved it. But again, this is just to satisfy a lot of the people who have old builds and they want to be able to, you know, the new SAv2 is really expensive. Again, I don't know why it's so expensive. It shouldn't be, but it is. So they call it the SA Classic, which is the regular 2.5-inch voice coil, copper. But anyways, I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Keep the questions coming. It helps me not only address a lot of this stuff that you guys run into, but it also has been helping me focus. So, and again, I love helping people. I love helping people understand better. I want to teach you guys about law. I want to teach you guys about real estate. I want to teach you about how to make money and all that kind of stuff. At the same time, I'm learning. So that's not something that Jacob is talking about. He doesn't talk about it. He doesn't want to share that with you. And again, not that he has to, not that he's obligated to you. I just find it in contrast to his aw shucks kind of personality. Like, oh, I'm just like you guys. Like, really? Are you? Anyways, I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. It's funny, I was reviewing the video, which many times I don't even review my videos. I just post it and say, fuck it, go for it. But there was a thought that I had when talking about the wind height of the voice coil. The reason why I brought that up is because you're not going to get any more excursion by using a larger spider in this case, because the wind height is the same as the 12-inch, which I think they use a 7-inch spider. They don't even use a full 8-inch. But Jacob would know more about that. I'd have to check it. But on a lot of these SA, especially the SA Classic, they actually don't even use the top landing. They use the 7.5-inch landing. Why? I don't know. Maybe because their cones are too deep. They don't need to be that deep. They can use a heavier cone like I do and just go more shallow. But again, that's just my opinion. There's more than one way to make a woofer. And the way that Jacob makes woofers is fine. I think he could do better, but he doesn't. like making a big woofer like this with a detachable top assembly, so that maybe you don't have to ship this big heavy fucking thing all the way back to them just for them to throw it in a pile and then sell it through Directronics out the side door, or sell it to Mexico. But again, and then the what was it? Oh, that was a good booger. The X, I think it's X8 that he was showing you the soft parts on. Again, he could have made that detachable. He didn't. Why? Again, to me, it feels personal. Like, fuck you, just buy a new one. And you have to understand, when you hang out with a bunch of engineers, they talk about things like this. And they make the decisions there of whether or not you should be able to service that. Talk to any car designer, and then versus a mechanic, mechanical engineer. And they go, oh, I need to do what in order to change the oil? I got to pull the whole fucking motor out? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And they do a lot of dumb, exotic things that they don't need to do for a lot of really dumb reasons, when really they could just make things simple and easy, and they don't. But again, Jacob is the master. He's the greatest of all time. He's the GOAT, man. He's got all the answers. I'm just asking you to question things that he does. Because for me, typically he's just doing things the way that everybody else does them, like Memphis, JL Audio, Rockford. They just go back and forth about the look of the woofer, not necessarily the performance of the woofer. Sometimes they can say, oh yeah, it has, whatever, 20% more BL. Does that make it louder? Does that make it cleaner? No, but you get to say 20% more BL, whatever that means. But anyways, that was it. I think we're gonna go for a cruise. We got Everly here, so we might go for a critter cruise. Fucking Hellcats, Jesus Christ, dude. Fuck you, Hellcat motherfuckers. Anyways, love you. Talk to you later.